Hey guys, today we're starting our new unit on chance and probability. So in the past, you would have looked at chance and probability from about prep grade 1 onwards, and you would have talked about it originally in terms like something is impossible. All right, so today Mr. Stone will turn into a unicorn. That would be impossible. All right. Then you'd look at things that were unlikely. Looking outside now, it's a beautiful day outside. I can see a nice blue sky. All right, it is very unlikely that it will start hailing this afternoon. Right, it's not impossible. It could happen. Right, it's just very unlikely based on the nice blue sky that we have. Right, and then we have a perhaps, all right, a 50-50, which we'll get to with percentages, all right? Something that's just as likely to happen, right, as is unlikely to happen. Right, so maybe that one would be that someone will give me a phone call this evening, all right? There's probably a half chance that that will happen and half chance that it won't, all right? I might get lots of text messages, but maybe not a phone call, right? Then something likely. Right? During a class, it is likely that someone will call out and not put their hand up. Right? It won't absolutely happen, right? It is possible that there'll be a class where that doesn't happen, all right, but it is likely. And then there's absolutes, all right? I will breathe oxygen today. Absolutely, I will, all right? There will be 24 hours in today. Yes, absolutely there will be. Right? So you would have learned to talk about probability based on words originally. Then you might have started to look at percentages. All right. So I'm clicking and moving things by accident here. So you might have said like I already said it before, there's a 50% chance something will happen and a 50% chance something won't. Right? There's a 100% chance or there's a 0% chance. All right. Or you might have heard something like the chance is 1 in a million. Right. So that's a fraction, 1 in a million. All right. 1 at the top of the fraction with 1 million at the bottom. Right. A 1 and then 6 zeros. All right. Something that's 1 in a million. All right. Maybe. What could be 1 in a million? All right. Maybe I'm walking down the street of Shepparton and then I trip over, but my hand lands on $100 note. Is that even? Maybe that's more. That'd be more than a million in terms of 1 in a million chance. 1 in a million. See if you can think of something that would be a 1 in a million. But what we're going to move to in grade 5 and 6 is looking at the connection, right, between fractions and decimals and percentages, right, and how they link when we're talking about chance and probability, right? So the work that you're going to do on IXL, if you're watching this and you're not in my class, we're in remote learning at the moment. So my class, when you get back to school, unfortunately, guys, we'll do a test on this at the end of it. But it's going to be linking, right, fractions and decimals and percentage. You're going to need to answer questions based on, like you might say, what's the chance of this happening, answer in a decimal or answer in a percentage. Right, so we're going to have a look at and just fill in this table. So I'll get my blue pen here. And was it going to let me draw it? No, it's not. That's annoying. All right. What if I pull my pen out here on my computer? I've got my Lenovo pen here. Hopefully I can draw on the screen. So I'm looking at something that's a 1 in 10 chance as a fraction, right? As a decimal, I converted 1 out of 10. I'll see if this lets me draw. If it's going to just move. There we go. All right. As a decimal, it's going to be 0.1. If I was going to do that as a percentage, all right, that is 10%. A few people might have been thinking that was 1%, right? But for it to be 1%, if I put 1% over here on the screen, right, then that's 1 out of 100. As a decimal, that'd be 0.01, and as a fraction, it would be 1 out of 100. Right? And we've done decimal place value, we've done percentages, we've done fractions. Now it's just linking them together for our unit on chance. So 0.2 as a fraction, that would be 2 out of 10, and as a percentage would be 20%. Now looking at the fraction there, 1/4, right? That's a 1 out of 4 chance, 1/4. I just know that 1/4 is 25%, right? Because there's 100% if it was 4 quarters, right? Dividing that 100% there, and then working back from that 25%, then that as a decimal is going to be 0.25. The other way I could do that is I could convert the 1/4, right? I'll put 1/4 over here, right? Then I have to times it to get an equivalent fraction, right? So because I want to get the 4 and make it a 100, so I can get an easy decimal, right? So I'd have to times that by both sides. I'd have to times by 25, right? So it'll be times that by 25, times that by 25, all right? Which that is equal 25 out of 100 there, right? By making that equivalent fraction. Again, we did equivalent fractions in class. Right, 30% as a fraction, that would be 3 out of 10, and as a decimal, 0.3. Now 0.3 and 0.30 are exactly the same number. With a decimal, you can have as many zeros as you want after that decimal number and it won't change the number. Right? 0.3 is the same as 0.3. But if it was on the left side of that decimal place, all right, so Mr. Stone's bank account had $3 in it, and I added more zeros after the 3, all right, instead of $3, it'd be 30 or 300, 3,000, 30,000, 300,000, 3 million, 30 million, right? 3 billion, we're going up in, right? Those zeros make a big difference there. But on the other side of the decimal place, you can have as many zeros as you want. It's just a waste of time, though. Now, 2 out of 5. I want to turn that into a fraction out of 10 to get my decimal. So 2 out of 5 as an equivalent fraction is 4 over 10. So that would be 0.4 and 40%. I've been doing my percentage ways. That don't stress if they're one way or the other. Right, 1/2 is the same as 0.5, same as 50%. Right, 1/2, you could do all the equivalent fractions of 1/2 and it's still going to equal 0.5 or 50%. Right, 60% here in our table, 6 out of 10, that was 0.6, 0.7 will be 7 out of 10, or 70%, and now we're here to a 75% one, which is our quarters, isn't it? Right, we got that 1/4 that was 25%, so if 1/4 is 25%, 75% has to be 3/4, and that'd be 0.75. Right, 8 out of 10 is 0.8, and then 80%. 9 out of 10, and 90%, and then 1 out of 1. Right, when we're talking about probability, 1 out of 1 is something's absolutely going to happen. There's no chance. Nothing can change that from happening. Right? Absolute. Right? So as a decimal, this is 1. It's a whole number. All right? And then as a percentage, it is 100%. If I was going to add another column to this table, which I probably should have had that, there's 0. All right, it's the same as 0%. right? And 0 out of whatever denominator you want to have. Right, so there's a really strong link. There is an absolute link between fractions and decimals and percentages when we're talking about chance and probability events. Right, that is what you need to grasp in this unit. Right, if you can get there is a link between fractions and decimals and percentages, and you can convert between the three, then you've nailed this. All right. If you've listened to this video that's now 10 minutes and 40 seconds long, and you're like, yep, I get this, then all the maths you're going to do over the next 2 weeks, because this unit will go for 2 weeks, you should find pretty comfortable. All right. I'll push you next week, right? Once you've done the IXL for this week. But this is the concept. All right. So any questions, all right, please ask me. I'll assign you IXL, and that will be on the Adobe Spark for this week. But this is it. This is what you need to know. All right. Thanks, guys. Good luck, and ask away.